So this is part 2 of edition 15 of the Clarke Park Show, because what I'm doing now is breaking this down into bite-sized chunks, and there's something else I wanted to talk about, which is, sorry about that when I get these tickles and itches there. So there are 3 things that link together, and it's really in the bigger picture of what I've been reading about today, the last few days, and some of it also comes from the World Economic Forum in Davos and some from elsewhere. And one of the things, the big thing from the WF in Davos and the big talk is about this thing called ESG. That's environment, social, governance, and also added onto that is sustainability. And so many corporates are looking to sign up to that, or are signing up to it, but of course the big talk is, do they really fully grasp the concept of all of that, and is it just words that go into policies, or how much of this are they going to put into action? And one key part of it is also about looking after the employees and the welfare of their workforce to make for better corporates, better companies, and also having a keen eye on their environmental policies and what they can do to help the climate. And then there was another thing that I saw about equity in companies, and saying that actually people who do a great job are more motivated by equity than by salary in a company. And then it also noted that while they're trying to make improvements with women in leadership and in the boardroom, actually the percentage of those women who have equity in the company is very low. And so there was a woman there from Silicon Valley who was trying to address that issue, and she formed an organisation for that, of which I can't remember, but that seemed really great to me. And at the same time, I also read today that Morrison's are going to shed 3,000 managerial jobs, but they're going to create 4,000 where they want them all what's called on the front line, where they want the managers to go onto hourly contracts and to become butchers, bakers and grocers, and they wanted to sell that as being a great thing. It was all very positive, but I did wonder, those managers who thought they were in secure positions, and perhaps they thought they had skills related to that, how will they feel retraining to be in the store, or what I would imagine would be a much lower wage and salary that's only paid hourly, much more insecure, and they then become a butcher, baker or grocer. And so that's an example of how the world is changing so much, and there's no such thing as secure employment anymore. And that also goes with Tata Steel. That's 1,000 jobs that are being lost in Port Talbot in South Wales. This is why a lot more people need to be thinking about entrepreneurialism, because another thing I read was about companies encouraging an entrepreneurial mindset. But why would you do that if it's only to profit the shareholders, those on the board, but you could still be out of a job quite easily tomorrow? And this is the other thing that's linked into the ESG, is this concept of stakeholders. But how real and genuine is it about being a stakeholder as opposed to being an employee? So these are some food for thoughts here about the changing world of work that we're in. And one more thing quickly, also I saw about with careers advice in schools, and I've known this for a long time, many people have, but steering children at a much younger age in the right direction, where we go against gender stereotype. There's still so much of that going on in the schools. How do we get them away from gender stereotyping for the jobs of the future, and addressing this male imbalance in so many of the job sectors, like tech, for example, engineering, science and many more. You've got to get in there much younger, and you've got to improve not only the careers advice but also with the teachers and the language they use, how they speak to the children. So I'm trying to keep this short, 4.5 minutes. They're my thoughts for the day. Thanks for watching, and remember, when I look at my YouTube editor, I'll be watching you watching me. Okay, toodaloo.